In 1985, a lake property was purchased by Gaylord White, a resident of Mercer County, West Virginia. The property was an old amusement park that used to be heavily populated by Native American tribes. Stories of Indian burial grounds and hauntings had circulated for years about the park, and Gaylord saw an opportunity to turn the Shawnee Amusement Park into a ghost tour for the masses. I got a hold of Gaylord and spoke with him about his time with the land, and the first thing he wanted to do was correct me on a few things.
It's not an Indian burial ground. It's not, never has been. What we have here is what they call winter death. We're all sitting in a hut around a fire and somebody falls over dead. So what do you do with the body? It's 20 below zero. You move the fire to the side of the pit. You dig that ground, which is underneath that fire, and you bury the body.
I asked Gaylord about things people have experienced over the years here, and if he thinks Native American spirits still roam the area.
Well, let's put it this way. I've never given a tour that people haven't experienced something. They hear Indian drums beating, Indians chanting. Sit in the fog, they can watch Indians dance around the fire and things like that. And I've had a Marine come here, Special Forces, and he spent all night under his covers, scared to death of what was outside.
When I asked Gaylord about his own experiences, he became much more apprehensive. So what have you experienced?
I don't want to talk about it.
Gaylord is very protective over his property and reminded me several times of the number one rule.
Number one thing, do not trespass. How would you like for me to kick in your basement door and go through your personal stuff? And I can't push that point enough. Everybody thinks the state of West Virginia owns it. They don't.
His preservative mindset seemed to go even further, according to a local resident who wanted to remain anonymous.
The geese flew from Canada, migrated from Canada. Well, you know, in their defecation, they dropped the seed over at Shawnee Lake when they come in and flew in and set it. Well, finally, that was the only flower in West Virginia that was known to be in Alaska. Now, all of a sudden, the state of West Virginia come down because the Indians used to live down there next to the water. Well, the state of West Virginia, University of West Virginia, come there and started digging. Well, I don't know what this idiot's problem was. He said, well, you got so many days to dig, and then after it's over with. Then he cut the dang little deep flowers down. It was a shame.
At first, this seems like a harsh way to protect an area from others, but once I was able to get Gaylord to tell me about his personal experiences, I no longer felt sure if he was trying to protect the park from others, or if it was the other way around.
One morning, I wake up, and I thought it was my wife had got out of bed, went to the bathroom. And for all the men out there that don't know, women don't turn the light on. They don't need to. And then out she comes, and she sits down in the bed. And I asked her, I said, you feeling okay? And she didn't answer me. I said, come on, Debbie. I said, what's wrong? And she didn't answer me. And I looked down on the bed, and Debbie was asleep. I looked back up, this ghost, spirit, whatever you want to call it. I said, please leave me alone tonight, I'm tired. And it laid down into my wife's body. From that day on, she acted different. So now, here it is, trying to think, probably 5 years ago, I sit and wonder sometimes when I had sex, if I was having sex with a 17-year-old or a 47-year-old.
The Shawnee Amusement Park still stands today. The huge Ferris wheel and swings are covered in weeds and rust, but are still for the most part intact. And I definitely left the park more intrigued than I was going in. White did mention that he was writing a book, so hopefully that means that more information is on the way. Until then, his ghost tours will have to do. Just make sure to call ahead